Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to a special live episode of the Monetize Your Ministry podcast, live here on Facebook, live on Instagram, and I'll be posting the recording on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching after we've recorded on Facebook and Instagram. And so you might see interactions and discussions in the comments, or I'll be responding to those questions that are put in the comments. But glad that you are here for this special episode that I'm doing. And I wanted to talk today about top 3 mistakes I made when starting my business and how you can avoid them. Now, if you are new to this program, new to my live, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Monetize Your Ministry, and you'll find other episodes with interviews by other individuals, interviews with others who have taken their skills, their expertise, their story, and have monetized them, brought them to life, generated income, impacted thousands of people. You want to check those out. People who have monetized anything through cooking, through speaking, through writing, through a service that they're doing, through coaching. Maybe some of them are coaching. Some of them have been coaching men, women, all sorts of different things. So something is going to relate and resonate with you. So make sure you subscribe and you check out that episode. And if you're watching this, just put in the comments where you're watching this from. Would love to shout you out. Love to recognize who is on watching this live as I'm discussing this today. Now, again, our topic today is top 3 mistakes that I made when starting my business and how you can avoid them. I don't want to say up front as I'm starting this and as having this discussion that one of the thought patterns that I think stops people from starting, whether it's a full-time business or a side hustle or a small business on the side that they eventually want to grow into something else. I think sometimes we believe that one big mistake can ruin your business, right? So I think one of the things that is holding some of us back from even starting is being afraid of making a mistake. Maybe you can relate to that, right? Sometimes we're so afraid that if I make a mistake, this is going to be messed up. I'm going to lose everything that I did. I'm going to lose money that I'm investing in this. I'm going to be wasting time on this. And here it is, right? If I start and I make a mistake, it can be like the end of this business. And I just want to just say to you, even as I'm sharing top 3 mistakes, it really, as I think about this, I look at these as educational experiences, right? In the journey of doing anything new that you've never done before, in the journey of stretching yourself, starting something, in the journey of taking a risk, you're never going to get everything right. But in that process, you need to look at the losses as lessons. And that's why I'm sharing this today, because maybe you can learn from my losses. Maybe you could take lessons from the things that I didn't do right. And maybe you'll make mistakes, but just don't make the same ones that I made. And I really just want to encourage you. The biggest mistake that you can make in the journey of taking something that God has put on the inside of you, the biggest mistake you can make is never taking the chance to do something with it. That's the biggest mistake. It's not the mistake of something you do wrong, not packaging it correctly, not pricing it correctly, not marketing it correctly. The biggest mistake is not doing anything with it. And I find more people who have made that mistake of just never starting. More people are making that mistake than any other mistake, right? So when we talk about mistakes in starting a business, the biggest mistake you can make, if you feel called to it, if there's something that you keep dreaming about every year, if there's an idea that keeps going through your mind every year, if every year you write it down, the biggest mistake is not the mistake after you start, it's to never start. And so I'm talking to you. Maybe you are the person that's listening to this and watching this, and you're so afraid of making a mistake that you don't start. And so before I even share some of my mistakes, I just want to tell you that one of the things I'm doing this for is to really encourage you to get started. All right. So I want to share with you some of the mistakes that I've made. Again, I look at them as lessons, and you can learn from these lessons. Top 3 mistakes I made when starting my business and how you can avoid them. And before I forget, I want to encourage you to register for the free workshop that I'm doing called how to make your first 5K in 60 days, you can go to the website, mymworkshop.eventbrite.com. So I'm doing a free workshop this coming Thursday, 7 p.m. It's free. So you go there. In fact, most of the spots are taken. So if you're watching this now, head over to that website quickly. Go to mymworkshop.eventbrite.com, register and show up. And I'll show you how when you get started, it doesn't have to take a long time between starting and making income. You can shorten that time. And yes, it's not a huge amount of money, but it validates that what you have, someone is willing to pay you. So I want to get into the first mistake of the 3 big mistakes I'm going to share today. And the first one is this: not getting clear on who you serve and the problem you solve. That was one of the big mistakes I made when I got started with my business, is not getting clear on who I served and the problem I solved. Now, we're talking about 6 years ago, 2018. My family and I moved from Memphis. I left my job. My full-time vocational job was as a pastor of a church, in fact, 2 churches. And I moved here to the Tampa area and started off in my business. And I was actually looking yesterday with my wife at the first person who paid me and how much she paid me for my services. But at that point, when I first started, one of the things that I resisted was picking one problem to solve. In fact, I did not want to. This was the fear. I didn't want to leave any money on the table. So if you asked me to do coaching on one area, I did it. If you asked me, can you coach me on this? I did it. If you said, can you do a service on this? Anything that particularly fell anywhere in the orbit of my skill set, I said yes to it. And the reason I said yes is the fear was, if I don't say yes to everything, I won't have money, right? I won't have the finances, because I told you I left a job to start this business. So I was leaving a full salary to now do something where I'm generating, I'm hunting, right? And so I said yes to so many things. And I find many people who are getting started, we say yes to so many things. Now, I'll give you a key right here. If you want to be successful in business, one of the things that you have to settle on is a who and a what. If you want to be successful in business, you got to settle on a who and a what. A who that you are called to serve, and secondly, what problem you're going to solve for them. In fact, the biggest thing that you can settle on in business is solving problems. I referred to that last week in my episode. You got to really get focused on solving problems and solving it for a particular target audience, because people will pay you to solve their problems. People want, in fact, here is what's so interesting about problems. People would rather give up their money than hold on to their problem. I'll prove it to you. You get any sort of pain, any sort of headache, whatever, body ache. If that thing is so intense, you will go to the drugstore, you will go to the emergency room, you will go wherever, and you know that you'll have to pay money, but the problem is so intense that you want to get rid of the problem, so you'd rather give up your money than hold on to your problem. And here's what I'm saying to you, and here's something I would have said to my old self. Find that problem, the problem that people live with every day, that they go to sleep with on their minds, they wake up with it. It's the problem that they are always trying to solve. It gets them frustrated that they can't solve it, and then come up with a solution for that problem. Now, if you are trying to help everyone, do everything for everyone, no one will really figure out what problem to come to you for. If you are all things to all men at all times, you never really have a chance to stand out from among the crowd. And the challenge with that is, even if I'm not your perfect client, if I know who you're looking to help and the problem you're looking to solve, at least when someone I know fits that description with that problem, I know to recommend them to you. And so that's something that I worked with some of my clients on. And trust me, there's pushback, because a lot of people have a lot of different skills and many people coming their way. And to be able to say, no, this is my person and this is the problem, takes a whole lot of discipline. In fact, I want to share with someone who is watching this right now. You might feel pulled in so many directions. And one of the things you got to do is pick that person and that problem. Now, here's a tip, and I'll just throw this in this episode. Sometimes the person that you're going to solve the problem for is connected to who you were or who you are in your journey. Maybe because of the fact that I was a minister, full-time paid minister, one of the groups that now I'm leaning into is helping people who are ministers, volunteer or paid, to monetize that ministry. You see how that works? A problem that I had for myself, I'm now looking to solve for others just like me. And so one of the things I'd say to you is pick a problem, pick a person, and do as much research. That's surveying them, talking to them, interviewing them, just being in groups with them, doing research on them, and figuring out their problem. And then here is what people will pay you for: that you spent more time figuring out the solution than they did. You spent more time thinking about the solution than they did. So, first mistake I made is not getting clear on who I served and the problem I solved. That was mistake number one that I made. Again, I'm sharing the three biggest mistakes that I made when starting my business. The three biggest mistakes I made when starting my business. All right. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two. Again, if you're joining this now, I'm sharing these mistakes. One, because they weren't fatal. And one of the mistakes a lot of us think is, if I make a mistake in business, it's fatal. No, the only time you really, it ends is if you quit, if you stop. But if you keep on going, you learn from your losses and you level up. And I'm sharing with you some of my lessons so that you don't have to make the same mistake. All right. Here is mistake number two: undervaluing past experience and my personal story. I undervalued my past experience and my personal story. Now, this may relate to you. If you're thinking about getting started in business, you started, maybe there's a part of you that thinks, well, I'm starting from scratch because I've never run a business before. I'm starting from scratch. I've never done this before. I'm a newbie. I'm just a whatever now looking to get into business. Does that relate to anyone? That's what's going through your mind? I didn't study this. This is new to me. This isn't part of who I am. No one in my family did this. And over, you got the stories you tell yourself as to why you are now starting from ground zero. But let's just talk about all of the things that I did before I got started with business. I led a church congregation, right? I was leading people. I was speaking every week. I was counseling and, let's call it, coaching individuals and families, negotiating problems. I was managing budgets and planning projects, right? Doing some project management. I was also starting something new, right? So some of the same skills that translate over to the business world were the skills I was using every week in my role as a pastor. But when I got over into business, I really started to devalue that and almost overlook that, and started to really look at myself in a small light. Like, I started to play small. So how did that look like? What did that look like? How did that manifest itself? One, I charged too little. I charged way too little for my experience because I only looked at my experience from July of 2018. I didn't look at the 18 years of experience in leading a congregation. I didn't look at all of the things I learned in there. And so I charged too little. Secondly, I tried to hide part of who I was. So people would ask me, what did you do? I led a nonprofit, whatever. And what would end up happening is people would figure out and find out what I did in my past work. And what was interesting is the thing that I was overlooking, or really almost devaluing, was the thing that was actually attracting people to me. The people who wanted to work with me, whether they knew me before or just discovered me, actually saw it as a positive that I had this experience leading a congregation. They saw some of the soft skills that you develop in that role. They saw some of the leadership skills and some of the problem solving skills, and they wanted to work with me as opposed to not wanting to work with me. And now what I've realized is my past experience, my past story, my past expertise all merges together with the work I'm doing in my business. Maybe it's the same with you. Maybe you have devalued the things that you do. And trust me, in my coaching work, I've coached hundreds of people. More people, in fact, I don't know many people who think higher of the experience than they should. Most people are downplaying the experience. They're downplaying the work that they're doing. They're downplaying the people they've helped. They're overlooking all the work and all the presentations and all the creativity and all the events they planned and all of the stuff that they've done. We overlook it and we undervalue our past experience and our story. Now, I want to stay on this for a second. One of the mistakes that I made is I thought my old story needed to be put away and I was starting a new story. But your story is actually a superpower for your business. There are people who want to work with you because of the things you've done in the past, even the things that did not work, even your challenges and your mistakes and your problems. There are people who want to work with you as a financial coach because you were in debt a whole lot. There are people who want your help in parenting because you had challenges with your own kids. There are people who want your help in marriage because you've navigated some challenges. There are people who want your help in starting a business because you made some mistakes when you started yours. Your story is something that you don't need to undervalue and overlook. All right. So, first two problems, the first two mistakes, not getting clear on who I served and the problem I solved, undervaluing my past experience and my story. And I want to share the third big mistake that I made when starting, because I hope it helps you to, one, start, and two, not make the same mistakes. And before I forget, I'm going to just tell you again to register for the free workshop, How to Make Your First 5K in 60 Days. That's taking place this Thursday. You can go to the website that I'm going to put here, mymworkshop.eventbrite.com. If you're here with me in the comments and you're ready for number 3, the third big mistake, just put a 3 in the comments. Just put a 3 in the comments. I want to share the third one because the third one is the most important one. In fact, if you are watching this now, don't miss this because this is the one that really, if I had understood this 6 years ago, it would have saved me from some challenges, right? Now, again, it's a lesson, and that lesson is helping me now and in my future, but I wanted to help you in your present, right? So here's the third mistake that I made: not anticipating setbacks. All right, not anticipating setbacks. What do I mean by that? Not anticipating setbacks. Well, when I first got started, I think we all start, one, with a level of apprehension, but also a level of anticipation. This is going to go well. But I think one of the things that I really want to share with you is setbacks are going to happen. They are. They are. Things won't always go the way you write them on your nice planner on the wall, and the way you write them in your journals, and the way the person online describes. There are going to be setbacks. You're going to encounter challenges. And I'll just share some of them that I encountered. I was working with someone. We had a great working relationship. We were doing great work, and that person ended up betraying me. That happened a few years ago, and that was a setback. Right? There were other setbacks that I encountered. And here is the mistake that I made. My mistake was not the things that I did that caused a setback. My mistake was I stayed down too long after a setback. I rehearsed the story. I told it to people. I stopped trying to move forward with the thing that I was doing, right? Whatever that was, whether it's feeling betrayal by a colleague or a client or whatever it was, I stayed in that too long. And I'm telling you now, if I anticipate, and if you and I anticipate something is going to go wrong, I need to have the resilience and the mindset that when something does go wrong, I'm going to adjust. That would save us a whole lot of missed opportunities. Because here's what happens. When something goes wrong and we feel like we miss out on an opportunity and we stay down, there are other opportunities that are coming our way that we're not in a position to grab them, to catch them, to hold on to them, to take advantage of them, because we are bemoaning, we are sitting out the game because of the things that went wrong. And I just want to tell you, things are going to go wrong at times, but it's those times when you really need to just say, okay, I'm going to adjust my mindset. I'm going to reframe this. This happened. What can I learn from it? How can I make an adjustment from it? And how can I keep moving forward? And I just want to say to you that as you are starting, or maybe you started already, and you've experienced some setbacks, don't let the setbacks become final. Don't just say, well, this isn't for me. I don't have what it takes. I'm not cut out for this. I'm not going to do this because of a setback. No, don't let the setback be a sign that this was not what you're supposed to be doing. No, let that pull something out of you to say, okay, what can I do now to fix this? Do I get help? Do I get some coaching? Do I readjust? But what can I learn through this setback that allows me to now be stronger in the work that I'm doing? And really, I just want to encourage someone. If it were easy, everyone would do it. And everyone isn't doing it. So it's showing you that you being able to be resilient will separate you from the crowd. So again, let me give you a recap. The top 3 mistakes I made when starting my business and how you can avoid it. 1, not getting clear on who you serve and the problem you solve. Here's what I'm encouraging you. Get clear, real fast on who you serve and study that person. Spend time with them, interview them, survey them. In fact, you might have an advantage that you are them. So really begin to go back into your mind. What's that problem that I wrestle with? Number 2, don't undervalue my past experience and my story. That's the problem. No, I need you to really, in all of the godly humility, to stand on what you've done already, to not be afraid to state your past experience, to not be afraid to charge for the transformation that you're allowing people to have, to not be afraid to step into your story and own your story. I need you to understand that your past experience and your past story is valuable as you step into this new work and this new business and the new thing that you're doing. And the last mistake is not anticipating setbacks. In fact, maybe I should even say not recovering fast enough from the setbacks that will happen, right? Because they will happen. They will happen. Life will life. People will be people. And here is the reason why you need to recover from the setback. Because the people who need what you have will still be there. The problems that they have will still be there. And they will still need a solution. And you are the person that they're looking to for it. And so that's why you cannot stay down. And the people who are depending on you, your loved ones, who are cheering you on to build this thing, they'll still be cheering you on. So you can't stay down. Don't stay down after your setback. So those are 3 mistakes. Now, maybe you have some that as you started yours, you've made some of your own. Share in the comments. What are some of the ones that you've made and some of the lessons you've learned in the process? This Thursday, I want to help you to get started if you haven't started already, or restart or relaunch, because maybe you've started something and one of the challenges you're having is I'm doing all this activity, but I'm not making money. And what my goal is to help people who are ministry minded. That is, they have a heart to serve others. That's my definition. Ministry is serving others. You don't have to have a title. You don't have to be a preacher up front, be paid. No, you have a heart to serve others. And that may not just even be in the church world, that's in the world. Like you're helping people with their budgets and you're helping people with, in the social work setting and as a teacher, and there's different roles. And now you're saying, I want to build something of my own. And a lot of times we're building, but we're not seeing any income. We're doing a lot of stuff online. We're building a lot of, influencer and all that kind of stuff. No knock on anyone, but we're not seeing income. And my goal is to help you get that first 5K sooner than most people. So I want you to get it 5K in 60 days. And I'm going to share the secrets of doing that on Thursday at 7 p.m. How to do it without a website, how to do it without fancy technology, and without even paying for a lot of ads and stuff. So come on out, register. Spaces are going. Go to mymworkshop.eventbrite.com. That's mymworkshop.eventbrite.com. mymworkshop.eventbrite.com. Hey, Sharon, first not knowing the value of my experiences and gifts. Sharon, listen, that is such a big one that I faced, a lot of people face. I just want to encourage you. It does not honor God to diminish what he's put on the inside of you. It doesn't honor God to have false humility and to overlook all of the good things, that the gifts and the talents he's given you. That doesn't honor God. I think it honors God when we actually say, this is the talent that he's given me, and now what is he calling me to use it to do? Right? So go to that website, MYM Work. All right, I'm back, I think. Here we go. This episode can encourage them to keep on going. This episode can encourage them that even if they make a mistake, they can look at it as a lesson and they can learn from it and they can grow from it. So if you know someone who needs this encouragement, why not share it with them? And if you have not done so already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel at Monetize Your Ministry. The other episodes, in fact, we're up to episode, I want to say 60. So the interviews, the other solo episodes like this, you need to check them out. Get inspiration, get instruction, get some tips and strategies on how you can get started with your business idea. And with that, I'm going to be signing out and encourage you to go increase your income and increase your impact.
Thank you for listening to the Monetize Your Ministry podcast with Kymone Hines. For more information, visit our website at www.monetizeyourministrypodcast.com. That's www.monetizeyourministrypodcast.com. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please share this episode with someone who needs it. Let's increase our income and impact.